Good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Maez, and I am a Greenhouse Scholar. Tonight, I'd like to talk about the simple power of belonging. Each of us here has a deep desire, a need to belong. It's innate human nature. Think of a time when you truly belonged. How did you feel? How did you act? Think now of a time when you were rejected, and how vastly different your response. Throughout my University of Denver experience, I realized belonging to a community that supports and challenges you is key to persistence and success. As a first-generation college student, I was rejected from the Latino Student Alliance, a student support group, because I didn't speak Spanish. Then, I returned to my dorm that same day to my floor mates discussing their holiday ski trips to Aspen. It was painfully clear that I did not belong. But this wasn't always the case. I grew up in the Harvey Park neighborhood of Southwest Denver. Our family lived a modest, happy, and stable life until my father was injured at work. This led to a debilitating blood clot and a brush with death. Suddenly, our sole provider became my mother, who had been out of work for 10 years. She was forced to make ends meet for our family while caring for a disabled husband. I was a 14-year-old high school freshman watching the man I looked up to relearn to talk, to walk, to write his own name. With medical bills piling up, my mother worried our house would go into foreclosure, but that didn't happen. Our community rallied around us, providing food, clothes, and enough money to keep us from losing our home. My teachers supported me in keeping my grades up, working to make sure I didn't fall behind. So many came to our aid. Trying to process it all and pay that help forward, I threw myself into academics and community. I began volunteering hundreds of hours a year. Service brought a smile to my face that was infectious, and I couldn't stop. I understood what my neighbors and teachers and friends already did, that community is more than simply helping someone. It's about belonging and making feel that they matter. On March 2nd, 2012, my first year at the University of Denver, I was headed back to my dorm room when I got a call from my mother. She told me to come quickly to the hospital, and my heart sank. That afternoon, my father had taken a fall that caused another blood clot, this time on the other side of his brain. Doctors said they could operate, but there was a high likelihood my father would be in a vegetative state. We looked at my father, and he just smiled. It was his decision, and he no longer wanted to feel pain. 3 days later, he passed away. When my father died, I was 2 weeks away from my final exams. I was lost, nervous, and distraught. I had to handle my schoolwork, be the leader for my siblings, and a rock for my mom. I didn't know what to do, so I emailed the Greenhouse Scholars team. Greenhouse handled everything, from help scheduling meetings with academic advisors to facilitating extensions with my professors. My fellow scholars offered their support. At Summer Symposium that year, I reconnected with people who knew me, who deeply understood my ordeal and helped me channel that energy. They helped me to make a positive impact in my community. My internship with Greenhouse Scholars, the summer before my junior year, solidified my calling to open up opportunities for underrepresented students, those that don't feel they belong, so they too can work for positive change in their families and communities. I wouldn't be doing the work I am today without this organization. I remember sitting in the interview room telling the Greenhouse Scholars Selection Committee that I wanted to be a journalist, to be the anchor of NBC Nightly News. Well, things have definitely changed. Through the Greenhouse Scholars Professional Network, I connected with several people in various areas of education and learned there is much more to helping students than being a teacher, a world of it, in fact. Today, I hold a master's degree in education from DU, where I earned the highest honor an undergraduate could receive. I earned the highest honor an undergraduate could receive, the Outstanding Student Award for Community Impact and Commitment to University Values. I now take my impact as the IB Diploma Program Manager at George Washington High School in Southeast Denver. Most importantly, I am a passionate change agent for educational access and equity in our community. Every day, I see the faces of students who are convinced they don't belong, students who see success all around them and have little hope of it for themselves. There's a movement in the Denver Public Schools to get minorities and low-income students into advanced courses. But it's more than just access. It's about ensuring all students feel they belong there. So I go into classrooms every Friday to teach one of the IB program components, and we start with a group activity. One of those activities has been incredibly effective at breaking down the barriers that have kept our community segregated by class, by race, and perceived ability. The students are asked to pair up with someone they don't know and ask each other 3 questions and allow the other person to respond for 3 minutes without interruption. Those questions are, who are you? Who do you want to be? And who do you see me as? As you might imagine, these are powerful interactions. Eyes are opened, hearts are changed, connections are made. These 3 questions have been so powerful, I've taken them to the teachers and staff. School leadership, central to the culture of the school, often perpetuate the opportunity gap, modeling more separation than togetherness for the students. These 3 questions have brought tears, and with them, understanding and collective action. Today, we don't treat the students accepted into Harvard any differently than those going to trade school. We celebrate them with the same high fives in the hallway, the same recognition in our announcements. We have a culture of celebration. We celebrate our students no matter where they are in their journey. Tonight, I want to challenge you to take these 3 questions behind me and sit down with someone you don't know, someone different than you. Maybe that's tonight or tomorrow on the bus or in the office. Maybe it's a neighbor you've been avoiding or a family member you've disagreed with. In the coming days, I challenge you to take the time and ask each of these 3 questions. Who are you? Who do you want to be? And who do you see me as? It's not comfortable, and it's not meant to be. Change rarely is, but is necessary. Diversity is not found only in race and gender and religion, but also in ideas, backgrounds, ideological viewpoints, and more. Diversity is crucial for the cultivation of any inclusive community. I believe in the power of bringing the stories together, found in these 3 questions, the narratives that defy the danger of a single story, and engage in a dialogue that truly creates a sense of belonging amongst all of our community members. If students are not challenged to think about things differently, to engage in conversations with people who have had different experiences than them, then we are doing our students a disservice. And if we are not doing the same, we are doing our world a disservice. So, tonight, make a pledge to become part of our Greenhouse Scholars community, one that fosters deep understanding, belonging, and ultimately change. Thank you.